exactly what he wants. He wants to have attention. Now, you've got to understand Justin Amash. He's been in Congress quite some time. I think he's only ever asked one question in all the committees that he's been in. He votes more with Nancy Pelosi than he ever votes with me. It's a question whether he's even in our Republican conference as a whole. What he wants is attention to the process. He's not a criminal attorney. He's never met Mueller. He's never met Barr. And now he's coming forward with this because this is what he wants.
And Amash is already now facing a primary opponent back home in Michigan. State Representative James Lower announcing just today that he is going to launch a run against him. Lower says that he made the decision a while ago, but that certainly people are angry back in his state about this decision. Certainly will be interesting up here, Phil, on Capitol Hill this week as Republicans return to the district.
Yeah, they'll be back in a couple of hours. I'm sure they'll be getting a lot of questions about this from Salman Srifati. Salman on the Hill, thank you very much. So far, Congressman Justin Amash is standing alone among Republicans, but one of the big questions is, will he persuade others to agree with his conclusion that President Trump was involved in impeachable conduct? CNN political commentator Charlie Dent is a former Republican congressman from Pennsylvania, was a frequent critic of President Trump. He joins us now from Philadelphia. And Congressman, I guess you know this conference better than anyone, given the fact you were in it just a short while ago. What's your sense in terms of what this means for the broader conference, the broader Republicans on Capitol Hill right
now? Well, Phil, I'd say this. Look, this is psychologically, Amash's comments are psychologically damaging to Republicans and to the president. I don't think this really changes the narrative, though, that other Republicans are going to jump on board. This is a crack in the windshield, probably not going to spread. But I have to tell you, Phil, I was chuckling a bit in your lead up here, hearing people say that Justin Amash is not a conservative. You know, he's very libertarian. I don't think he did this for political gain. It's not helping him politically in his district. He's had problems with establishment Republicans, now with Trump Republicans, so he's taking quite a political risk by doing this. And I think that most Republicans, and I suspect the Democrats, don't see a lot of advantage in impeachment right now. The Democrats would rather beat Trump at the ballot box, litigate this in the 2020 election, and that impeachment might actually harm their electoral chances politically. So I think that's why everybody's dancing around impeachment.
Yeah, and that actually it brings up a good point you made about Justin Amash. And a lot of people maybe outside of Washington aren't super familiar with Justin Amash. Maybe you can check his Facebook page. He writes very lengthy kind of recitations as to why he votes how he votes, which often runs counter to where Republican leadership is, to where maybe veteran appropriators like one Representative Charlie Dent might be. But can you explain kind of his place in the Republican conference? I think that would be helpful for people to understand where he's coming from there.
Yeah, I've always looked at Justin Amash. He's a very sincere and earnest guy. He's very libertarian, similar to what a Ron Paul would have been in the Republican conference. I believe he's still affiliated with the Freedom Caucus. And so when I heard Kevin McCarthy say that he votes with Nancy Pelosi more than he votes with me, well, you could have made that argument about many of the members of the Freedom Caucus over the last few years on a lot of these really important governance issues. So I think that's where Justin Amash is, but very libertarian. He can be very intellectually honest, does vote against a lot of bills. Even when you're a majority, he would vote against things in the same way that Ron Paul did. So he's a little bit of an outlier within the conference. But I said I wouldn't underestimate this, though. It does have an impact. He is a Republican from the state of Michigan. Again, a very critical swing state for Donald Trump. And, the fact that there's a crack in Grand Rapids, Michigan, probably isn't real pleasing to the White House right now.
Yeah, real quick while I have you, he made a key point that I thought was interesting where he said he doesn't know that there's a lot of Republicans who have actually read the full 400-page plus report. He's been in Congress. How many members of Congress do you think have actually sat down and read the Mueller report over the last 50-some-odd days?
Well, I think most members have read through it. Now, have they studied every word? I doubt it. But I think most of them have read through it, at least the most salient parts. Those two summaries, the summaries were pretty helpful. But I suspect most of them have read through it. I won't say that they've studied it in depth like a Justin Amash did. I'm sure he went through this. And by the way, the only thing that surprised me about Justin Amash is the timing of this. I was a little surprised, like, why now? Why didn't he do this closer to the time that the report was released? Why did he wait so long? But again, I don't see any political benefit to him. But members I think, have largely read this thing.
Benefit of the doubt from former Congressman Charlie Dent. Really appreciate your time as always, sir. Thank you very much. Not only is Congressman Justin Amash facing backlash from Congress, he's also, as Sundlin noted, facing a primary opponent. Republican State Representative Jim Lower announced this morning he will challenge Amash. He says he decided to move up his announcement because of that tweet thread. Take a listen.
Well, like a lot of people, I was pretty angered by the tweet. But more immediately, right after that, I decided that, the campaign that we've been planning to announce in July, that, it'd be a good idea to move that up in terms of the announcement. And that's what we've done is, I'm sure you know today, we're announcing that I'm going to challenge Congressman Amash in the Republican primary this fall, or next fall, rather.
CNN political analyst Julie Hirschfeld Davis is here. She's a congressional correspondent for the New York Times. We also have our great chief political correspondent, analyst, Gloria Borger. So, Gloria, I want to start with that because Justin Amash has been challenged before from Republican business interests. I believe it was back in 2014. They tried to unseat him, failed fairly miserably. How vulnerable, given the current climate, given the Republican Party, how vulnerable does this make Justin Amash?
Well, I was just looking at the numbers. Let's see, in 2018, he won with 54.4% of the vote. So that's a pretty good margin, and I think he'd like to replicate that. What you're going to see, though, no doubt, tell me if I'm wrong, you're going to see Donald Trump target him and go after him, just the way he targeted John Tester in the Senate race in Montana because he didn't like what he did about Dr. Ronnie Jackson and on and on. This is a president who doesn't forget slights, and I think this would be enough for Donald Trump to be visiting his district multiple times in Michigan, and that could hurt him.
Borderline John Tester in Montana, where he just kept going back to Montana because the same
Four times,
so
right.
personal for him. Julie, I was struck by Kevin McCarthy, the House Republican leader's remarks. They were rather scalding. He did not take his foot off the gas at all. And the idea that that Justin Amash is not a conservative or that he's not a Republican is kind of funny if you look at all the scorecards that you have on Capitol Hill. But I guess, what do you make of this idea, apparently, from Republican leadership, that they're just going to try and undermine him bit by bit now that he's done this?
Well, I mean, I think it's in keeping with what we've seen from the Republican leadership more generally, which is a willingness, even an eagerness to sort of be in lockstep with this president. They did, the establishment Republican Party did try to mount a Republican challenge against Amash in 2014. That was before Trump was president, and they failed miserably. The question will be, will they fail again now that the entire Republican establishment has sort of turned the corner and is really, leaning into this fight against him? It's also fascinating to note that, he came into Congress in 2010 with the Tea Party. And it sort of speaks to how different the Tea Party is now, or the Freedom Caucus is now from what it was then. We've seen most of those members really standing behind President Trump no matter what. They're not talking so much about the Constitution or congressional prerogatives. They're behind him. And back in 2010, they were really small government conservatives, constitutionalists like Justin Amash, who would probably have been more likely to have a point of view on this that we've seen from him in the last couple of days, but instead they're 100% behind the president. It's just fascinating to see.
We're not used to Republicans, as you know better than anyone, rushing to microphones, but here they are, rushing to criticize Amash, whereas when the president tweets, this could be the official end of Iran over the weekend, you don't hear from them.
Right.
They're silent. So suddenly, they want to vote Amash off the island, but where have they been on all these other issues that they could be speaking out on?
Yeah, I think there are questions about many of those issues. So I want to switch gears a bit. But I would note, if you would have asked any of us who would have been the one Republican that would have probably done this, I think we all probably would have named Justin Amash, just knowing him and how he's been on this. All right, I want to shift gears. Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg had some harsh criticism for Fox News on where? Fox News. Take a listen.
When you got Tucker Carlson saying that immigrants make America dirty, when you've got Laura Ingraham comparing detention centers with children in cages to summer camps, then there is a reason why anybody has to swallow hard and think twice before participating in this media ecosystem. But I also believe that even though some of those hosts are not always there in good faith, I think a lot of people tune into this network who do it in good faith.
So I want to ask about this because there was criticism for Pete Buttigieg for doing the town hall. I think he's kind of trying to split the difference there. But going after Fox anchors on Fox News in a primetime special,
I thought it was smart for him, honestly. I don't know how many committed Democrats are watching Fox News, but there is an echo chamber, and he went into the lion's den. And he criticized the president, and he criticized some of their anchors for what they said, and the president tweeted about it and told Fox News, he's the chief programmer, I guess, at Fox News, and he criticized Fox News for putting him on, which is exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, that's actually what I want to get to. The president tweeting out, hard to believe that Fox News is wasting airtime on Mayor Pete, as Chris Wallace likes to call him. Fox is moving more and more to the losing, wrong side of covering Dems. He went on to say Fox forgot the people who got them there. Is the president jealous right now that Fox is giving time to other individuals?
I think a little bit. I mean, he certainly doesn't seem to appreciate the concept of, equal coverage or, fair and balanced, as they used to call it. He clearly feels that, Fox is his network and these are my people, and why is he giving time to somebody who's an up-and-comer on the Democratic side? But I also think that he's been a little bit, he feels a little targeted by the fact that Pete Buttigieg decided to accept this invitation. He's willing to go into the lion's den and talk to these people, some of whom you heard him say, we're not there in good faith. The president doesn't do that very much. He's generally talking to Fox News, and that's it.
And all of these things. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Gloria Borger, Julie Hirschfield Davis. Did President Trump just confirm he greenlit a cyber attack on Russia? Details next. Plus, Iran says, quote, "This is a crazy president," after Trump directly warns that any war would mean the end of Iran. And in any normal world, this would dominate the conversation. Deutsche Bank employees reportedly flagged suspicious activity by the president and his son-in-law. Those flags never made it anywhere. Hear why.
My time is spent, but so is my lawn.
Now there's Scott's Thicker Lawn 3-in-1 solution with a soil improver, seed, and fertilizer to feed.
Now yard time is our time.
This is a Scott's Yard.
I'm working to make each day a little sweeter.
To give every idea the perfect soundtrack.
To fill your world with fun.
To share my culture with my community.
To make each journey more elegant.
I'm working for all the adventure two wheels can bring.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work, so you can achieve what you're looking for.
Geico makes it easy to get help when you need it. With licensed agents available 24/7. It's not just easy. It's having a walrus in gold easy.
The walrus! Ridiculous!
Yes! Nice save, big guy! Good job, Duncan! Way to go!
It's not just easy, it's Geico
Oh,
easy.
Duncan, stay up. No sleepies.
Searching for a beach vacation? Find it at Verbo. They search millions of homes to find your perfect beach house, where you all find your own rooms and some quality time to find out about each other. From beach houses to cabins to condos, find vacation homes that match you with Verbo.
It's only a matter of time until your check engine light comes on, or worse yet, your car needs repair. That could mean a big surprise auto repair bill. Those repairs are more expensive than ever. A new engine can be over $5,000. A new transmission over $4,000. That's why it's so important you call CarShield today. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country.
I like CarShield.
The Model Y coming. We've got electric semis coming. Different things that he would roll out from time to time, and that would make people say, aha, that's the next leg of growth. That's what's coming. What's he going to do this time? His moves are somewhat limited at this point. He can still do certain things that would reassure the market, but I think people are looking around saying, what's the next step going to be?
And Paul, when you mentioned the capital burn and the amount that they need, it's going to get more and more expensive the worse the stock does. Who would want convertible debt here, and at what price? And if, what yields is he going to be going to market at if they need more money? What kind of prices are we talking about if they have to do another equity raise?
The simple answer is high.
Yeah.
I mean, basically any capital they're going to raise is going to be very expensive for Tesla. And that's just the way it is, given the current situation in which the company finds itself, again, with more questions than answers just now.
Yeah, and the demand issues, Phil, are the kind of the new wrinkles for Tesla in 2019. It'd be one issue if they just couldn't ramp up supply quick enough. That's a high-class problem to have. Has there been any way of tracking, other than a lot of the blogs and the bean counters out there who try to guesstimate what's going on? Any sort of more official way of figuring out how strong demand is?
Not official. I mean, there are people who look at the vehicle identification numbers and then they sit there and they extrapolate, okay, this is where we see production, this is what we think demand is. Keep in mind that Tesla has never gone through a recession, if you will, an automotive recession, where the market pulls back. And that's not to say that their sales are going to drop. They just may not grow as quickly as the company has forecasted. And Elon Musk has already pretty much, for the most part, burned all the equity that he can get with people in terms of buying into their estimates because he has set lofty goals in the past. They haven't met that. So now when they come out with estimates and goals, there is a certain amount of, okay,
Right.
let's dial it back. What do we really think is going to be coming from Tesla, let's say 3 months or 6 months or 9 months from now?
And finally, Paul, the more that these vehicles have been on the road, the more people are able to get, that kind of water cooler talk. Hey, what's it like to own a Tesla? What was it like getting yours serviced? Can you drive it in the snow? All of those types of things. Is that now, again, contributing to some wariness that people might feel about making this purchase?
I'm not really sure that's the case. The cars, from my experience, are absolutely terrific. It's just problems around them and it's more the corporate issues, the production issues, financing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't know much about the fire situation per se. Obviously, that's very disturbing. But every time I've been in one of those cars, it is fun.